government into three parts or branches is what prevents from the president from taking too much power. Because if there was only one branch, that branch would hold all the power. Number 2, Samantha, what does the legislative branch do? What do they do? Yeah, good job, correct. They make the laws. So we're going to write, they make the laws. Number 3, what is the General Assembly made up of? Remember that chart? What is made up of? Yes, Eric, it's made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives. Lastly, number 4, when is a vote for a bill taken? Yes, Danny? Yes, after legislators debate about the good and bad points of the bill. After they either look at it and they say they agree with it or disagree and why or why not, then they can make a vote. So, the summary for this section would be our state government is divided into 3 branches, correct? And each branch has its certain duties. This allows the power to be spread out and not just be held by one. One of the branches we learned in this section was the legislative branch, which is the one that makes the laws, like Samantha mentioned, and like we have in our definition. A bill becomes a law when it passes through groups till it reaches the governor, correct? The governor has the last say, and if they decide to sign it, then it becomes a new law for the state. But even if it reaches to the senator and he decides not to sign it, he or she, then it's veto, which it would be sent back and they would have to go over the process again. So now, boys and girls, now that we've read the first 2 sections, we're going to keep doing this for the next 2 sections. Like I mentioned, we have 4 sections. We went over 2 sections and then 2 more sections. We're going to go over the academic language, the comprehension questions, and the summary for each section. So we should be halfway through our vocabulary worksheet, correct? All right, let's finish those sections right now. Okay, boys and girls, now that we've learned about the branches of government through the video and reading, now that we finished all our sections, let's do some writing. So take a look at this folio I'm handing out to you. So this is a folio that's gonna help us remember our 3 branches of the government. So I'm going to model 1 question of each so that we can get an idea of what we're supposed to do during our independent work time. So let's see. At the top, I want you all to write your name. And let's take a look at the first page, which is the executive branch. So for example, here we have questions or statements. Correct, we have questions or statements. So who can tell me, what does the executive branch do? Danny? Good job. So we would write in complete sentences, correct? The executive branch carries out the laws. And then we would do the same for the rest of the questions for that one. So let's flip to page number 2, which is the legislative branch. This is a fill-in blank, so you could have fill-in blanks or answering questions. So the first fill-in blank, Eric, the legislative branch makes what? What do they make? Good job. So you would fill in the blank, makes the laws. The legislative branch makes the laws. Now lastly, let's flip to the 3rd page of our folio, which includes 2 sections, the judicial branch and the chart that you're supposed to complete. Judicial branch is, Samantha, let's fill in this blank. The blank make up the judicial branch of Illinois state government. Good job, Samantha. So based on our reading, based on what we reviewed, the courts make up the judicial branch of Illinois state government. So you were writing courts in that, fill in the blank. And you would do the same for the rest. And then in this chart, we're going to fill in the, so it's asking you the level, which gives you the United States, the Illinois, and Aurora is our city. You would have to fill in the blank of each head of executive branch, and then the name. So for example, United States. Who is the head of the executive branch of the United States? Good job, Danny. Yes, it's the president. So we would put in president and then our former president. So we have to do with our former timeline, like our present timeline. Okay, so now that I've gone over how to model, like I've modeled our folio, it's time for our independent work. I hope you all know what's expected. If you still need help, if you need help, the first thing I want you to do is reread the text. After that, if you still need help, turn and talk to a partner. And after you've done those two things, then you can raise your hand and I will come over and help you. Sounds good? Thank you, everyone. So let's begin our independent work and let's get to work. Don't forget, once you're done with your folio, please bring it to the turn-in box so that we can check those for completion. Okay, boys and girls, let's bring back our attention to the classroom. Now that we finished our read aloud, we wrote our folio, and we watched the video about the branches of government. After each section, we stopped and went over some key vocabulary, answered some comprehension questions, and summarized the information from that section. So the academic language we learned today included, here's the words for the first two sections. So we went over the branches of government, what a state is, what government means, what laws are, representative, constitution, legislative branch, bill, veto, senator. And we also looked into the executive branch, militia, court, judicial branch, local government, the mayor, governor, population. So our vocab sheet should include all those words that I've mentioned. Now let's take a look over the focused words that I know was where we focused the most our attention. So today we focused on the branches of government, which is the separate arms of the U.S. government, each of which having its own powers. That includes, right here, the legislative branch, correct? So we have the division of government that makes the laws. And in our sheet, it includes the two other ones, correct? The executive branch, which is the executive branch carries out the laws, and the judicial branch is the one that interprets the laws. So those are like our four main vocab words. But remember, all the words that are here are as important as those four. So to summarize what we've learned, each state has its own state government, correct? With this being said, the laws for each state may differ. So one state can have a specific law and the other state might not have that law. The government representatives are the ones that meet and make the laws in the capital city. And then the Illinois Constitution tells us how our state government should work. In addition, throughout the reading, we learned about the three different types of branches of the government, correct? So these include the executive, judicial, and legislative branch. Each branch, like we've learned, hold their own power and have certain duties. So for example, the legislative branch is the one that makes the laws, the executive branch is the one that carries out the laws, and the judicial branch is the one that interprets the laws. Overall, this allows the power to be spread out and not to just be held by one, correct? But yeah, thank you all for being great students, for being active listeners through our read aloud, for answering questions, for filling out your vocab sheet. Don't forget, before you leave, to turn in your folio. So staple these, put it in the turn-in box, and also your vocabulary worksheet to check both for completion and make sure that you all were working hard. And also don't forget to write your names. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next class. Bye, boys and girls.